The BBC names the next Doctor Who. This is News Review from BBC Learning English, and I'm Rob, and joining me to talk about this story is Roy. Hello, Roy.
Hello, Rob, and hello, everybody. If you would like to test yourself on the vocabulary around this story, all you need to do is head to our website, bbclearningenglish.com, to take a quiz. But now let's hear more about this story from this BBC News report.
The BBC has announced that the next star of Doctor Who will be Ncuti Gatwa, who will take over from Jodie Whittaker to become the 14th Doctor. The 29-year-old Scot, who's best known for playing Eric in the Netflix show Sex Education, is the first black actor to take the lead role.
So, Doctor Who is a popular, long-running science fiction drama made by the BBC. Now, the BBC has announced the next actor to play Doctor Who, also known as the Time Lord. That will be Ncuti Gatwa. Ncuti Gatwa will be taking over from Jodie Whittaker and be the 14th time-travelling Doctor.
Yeah, it's an interesting story, and you've picked 3 words and phrases from the news headlines about this story. What are they, please, Roy?
We have under wraps, irrepressible, and bows out.
That's under wraps, irrepressible, and bows out. Okay, let's pick that first phrase from your first headline, please.
Okay, so our first headline is from the BBC and it reads, Doctor Who, it's been tricky trying to keep this under wraps, says Gatwa. Under
wraps, secret.
Okay, so this is a 2-word expression. First word is under, U-N-D-E-R. Second word is wraps, W-R-A-P-S. And it basically means that something is a secret.
And breaking that phrase down, under means to be below things. Under things is when it's, beneath something. We sometimes use under as a prefix, so we might say underfunded or under-resourced, for example. But here we're not using under as a prefix, are we?
No, we're not. Now, if you take that idea of under meaning beneath, and then wraps, think about something being wrapped up. Now, something wrapped up, for example, if you're in bed, you may be wrapped up in the duvet, which means you are completely covered in the duvet. And together, under wraps basically means that something is secret.
And of course, we talk about presents being wrapped up. We wrap things up because what's inside, I guess, is a secret, isn't it? We don't want people to see it until the day comes for your birthday present. So that's what we're talking about here.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that basic idea of something being wrapped and then you open it and it's a big surprise. But in terms of under wraps, the expression, we often use it for really big secrets. So, for example, plans, big plans that are being kept a secret, or big pieces of information. So, for example, in the headline, we're talking about who is going to play the new Doctor. This was a secret for a long time, for a while, and it was kept under wraps.
And you had a secret the other day, and you told me, don't let the cat out of the bag. Is that...
Yeah, don't tell anybody. So, for example, when we say the expression, don't let the cat out of the bag, we're basically saying don't reveal the secret. To let the cat out of the bag means reveal a secret. So if you're keeping a secret under wraps, don't let the cat out of the bag. It's a great little idiom.
Okay, I'll remember that. We'll keep it quiet. Shh. Let's have a summary. We've been talking about secrets, and if you want to learn more expressions about keeping secrets, why not watch our very funny drama, The White Elephant? Where can we see that, Roy?
All you need to do to watch that is click the link in the description below.
Shh, keep it a secret. Okay. Let's have a look at your next headline, please.
Okay, so our next headline comes from The Guardian, and it reads, Doctor Who? Ncuti Gatwa's irrepressible rise to new Time Lord.
So that's irrepressible, energetic, lively, uncontrollable.
Okay, so irrepressible is an adjective and it is spelled I-R-R-E-P-R-E-S-S I-B-L-E. And it basically means that something is lively, full of energy. It's often used to describe a person, and it sometimes means that they can't be stopped.
Okay. Now I know about the word repressible, meaning to stop something happening, but here we have a prefix, IR, yes?
Yeah, and that IR means not. So repress is a verb, it means to stop something. Repressible is an adjective, it means that it can be stopped. Irrepressible means that it cannot be stopped. Now, this adjective, when it's used to describe a person, is often quite positive. So we say that, oh, the person is so full of energy, they're so lively, and they just can't be stopped. Occasionally, it can be used to describe somebody who's being a bit annoying. Maybe they're doing the same thing over and over again, and maybe I could say, they are irrepressible.
And we can say that you, Roy, are irrepressible, in a good way, of course. Could I say you're irrepressibly cheerful? Is that the same meaning?
Yeah, if you want, yeah. So there you use that as an adverb, irrepressibly. Now, one thing I want to talk about this, often we use irrepressible as a positive adjective to describe somebody who can't be stopped. Sometimes as a negative, we can use the word uncontrollable if they are out of control and you can't stop that person, you can't manage them. So if you have an employee and they are uncontrollable, maybe the manager can't control them or stop them.
They are out of control. Okay. Thanks for that. Let's have a summary. Now, Doctor Who is a fictional doctor, but we've been talking about real doctors and what life will be like without them. How can we watch that programme, Roy?
All you need to do is click the link in the description below.
Yep, it's just down there. Okay, let's have a look at your next phrase from your next headline, please.
Okay, so our next headline is from The Mirror, and it reads, Doctor Who's new Time Lord is sex education star Ncuti Gatwa as Jodie Whittaker bows out.
That's bows out, stops working after doing a job for a long period of time.
Okay, so this is a phrasal verb. First word bows, B-O-W-S. Second word out, O-U-T. And it means to stop doing a job or activity, usually after a long period of time.
So if we break down this phrase, first of all we have bows. Now I know about bowing. This is when you bend over to say thank you or to greet someone for the first time maybe.
If you go to the theatre, often at the end of the performance, all of the actors come on stage and they give a bow. And it's to say thank you and to tell people that the show is over. And now if we continue with that idea of bowing at the end of a theatre piece, that's a very similar idea to bowing out. To bow out means to end stop working after a long period of time. You can use it as bow out, bowed out, or bowing out.
So you might bow out when you retire from a job, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. And there you go. That's that long period of time idea. So after a long career, maybe we quite commonly use it in sport as well. When somebody retires from the sport that they've been playing, for example, a footballer has been playing for a long time and they decide to bow out of football.
Quite an informal phrase. Would I use it maybe at the end of my working day? I've done a day in the office. Do I bow out and go home?
No, this is for a long period of time, maybe after a long career, several years or a long period of time working, you bow out. Now, if you want to say at the end of the day that you're finished, you can say, I'm done. I am done. I'm done for the day. Or even if work is becoming a bit difficult that day, you could just say, I give up, which means like you surrender, you can't do it anymore.
Okay, but going back to bows out, I mean, this is usually your decision to leave. You finish your career, for example. You're not being pushed or sacked. You choose to bow out.
Yeah, you bow out when you want.
Okay, got it. Let's have a summary. Okay, Roy, before we bow out, could you recap the vocabulary we've discussed today, please?
Of course I can. We had under wraps, secret. We had irrepressible, energetic, lively, uncontrollable. And we had bows out, stopped working after doing a job for a long time.
Now, if you want to test your understanding of these words and phrases, we have a quiz on our website at bbclearningenglish.com, and that's a good place to go to for lots of other learning English resources. And why not check us out on social media as well? Well, we're out of time for today. Please watch us again on News Review next time. Bye for now.
Bye.